Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome back to the show. Today, I'm really excited to dive into today's conversation with Jill Smith. Jill's a lifestyle family photographer serving the New York Catskills and Hudson Valley for over 10 years. She's managed to break six figures in her business and work less by building a small team of associate photographers. She's a family photographer who teaches other family photographers how to build a team of associates for their business so they can work less, make more, all while spending more time with their family and friends while staying in their zone of genius as photographers. Now, if you've ever been curious on expanding your photography business to include associates, well, my friends, this is the episode for you. So without further ado, here's Jill. Let's dive in. Welcome.
Hey, Lisa. Hi.
Hi. So tell us who you are and what you're passionate about.
Like you said, I am a family photographer. I'm a lifestyle family photographer. I'm based in the New York Catskills, so I'm about 90 miles north of New York City. And I am obsessed with creating connected family photos that make people feel something. I'm not a perfectionist by any means, and I'm just more interested in like the connection and really like honest photos.
Love that. So it was so interesting because I hear about associate photographers, but you don't really hear that many bring them on and do it successfully. So I
Right.
want to hear about your business model and how you dove in with how you dove in with associate photographers and really how you made that decision to bring them on.
Yeah, so it all started a few years ago. It was during the busy season. Like I said, I'm in New York, so that's mid-October is when
Yeah.
we hit peak foliage. And I got a stomach bug. This is very dramatic, and I am not a dramatic person, but I got a stomach bug. I got so dehydrated that I passed out, and I got a concussion and a staple in my head, and my tooth broke, and it was like October 12th or something like that.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so like I was in the hospital. I had a concussion, so I couldn't even edit. And by the time that I would be able to get people back on my calendar, the leaves would be gone.
Yeah.
And it was my husband who was like, you know, think about when we hire contractors to come and do work for us. The good ones always have a team. They always have people who can come and do their work for them, and then they just supervise. He's like, why don't you have that? And it dawned on me then. It was like, aha, of course. Like I had been looking for ways to scale my business for a really long time and kept kind of missing the mark. And this seemed like the solution. So that's how it started.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now, I think when someone is even considering bringing on photographers, there's a lot of fears. There's like a fear of losing control of your business, not being in control of the work they're doing. And honestly, probably the biggest one is training your
Yeah.
competition.
Yeah.
So, what advice do you have for sort of alleviating those fears in someone who's maybe considering it?
I think I love that. I love that you said that because that's what everybody is secretly thinking, but not many people are willing to admit
Yeah.
that that's what they're actually afraid of with like bringing on associates. It's like, am I going to train somebody for them to go and steal my business and then derail me? I have a couple of angles where I come at this from. I'm a big believer in abundance and community over competition and all that sort of thing. But
Absolutely.
it's easier to just say those things and really believe why they should be like a pillar value in you as a business owner. When we're no matter what, our market is going to have new low price photographers coming on the scene, and with technology being as accessible as it is now, there's more good ones than when we got started, right?
Yes.
So like now the new photographers are also good photographers very often. But they're normally like not charging enough or not running their business well and things like that. So I see this as an opportunity to kind of take those people under my wing and to say, like, here's how you can run your business effectively. And um, I- yeah, they're going to turn into competition, but it's going to be good competition.
Yeah.
So what better motivator than to continue to improve and to have a good business and to offer something good than by having somebody who's offering some good competition
Yeah.
and kind of motivating you to do that. That said, the people I've trained and all that, they're not stealing my business. You know, if you have a good working relationship with your associates, they're not looking to do that. There's actually very few people who are able to have a full-time photography business or looking or want to have that desire. So very often, like the people who I bring on have full-time jobs, like their dream careers already, and they also like to do photography. So there's that. Every so often, there are those who want to go full-time, and that's okay too. Like I said, you have to be okay and aware of the fact that the competition is going to be there. If
Yep.
you can be allies with them, then the shady stuff is not going to happen as often.
Yeah.
It's the community that I have with my competition, like the people who are not my associates but local photographers that do the same thing that I do. We're they're some of my closest friends.
Yeah.
So it's like, and we tell each other our favorite shooting spots and our favorite gear and our favorite like tricks of the trade and things like that. And nobody is derailing each other.
No.
The other thing that you have to consider is that like you and many other photography educators are selling and sharing their secrets.
Yeah.
And nobody is sinking anybody else's
No.
shit. There's like
The
so
more
much
the
work to go
merrier.
around. There is so
Yeah.
much work. I mean, I could go on and on
Yeah.
as to why we don't need to feel threatened
I
by
love that.
this. It's better to just help other people around you and let them get to where you are so that your entire local industry is elevated and there's a new standard for what a family photographer looks like and costs and everything like that.
Yeah, I love that answer. I love that because you're really embodying the community over competition mindset and really living that. I love that so much.
Yeah.
And you know, it's funny because we also assume that everybody wants to have a photography business, and that is
Right.
not necessarily the case.
Right.
Some people just want to go shoot. So
Mhm.
you're providing an opportunity
Yes.
for these people to have that experience,
Yep.
to be the photographers that they want to be without the headache of the running the
Right.
business, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like it took me 10 years to get to the place where I am, where I attract enough business to keep my business going. It takes a really long time to get there. So my associates are really new. And it's going to take them a while to have that sort of reach anyway. So here they can get the shooting experience. They're making more money than they can realistically charge by shooting for me. So
Yeah.
it really is like, it's a really great opportunity for them. They don't want to screw it up. So it kind of, it's I don't know, it's like a symbiotic relationship. I'm helping them, they're helping me.
I love that. Now, do you
Yeah.
find having matching styles, like how is that something that you manage with that?
So I'm editing. So that's taken care of.
Perfect.
I'm not like a hyper poser,
Yep.
really. I'm lifestyle. So it's posed, but it's not meant to look posed and all that. I mentor my associates to do my poses. They learn a workflow of poses for maternity and family sessions that they go through so that their work resembles mine to an extent. Sometimes one of my associates, her work, like her own personal work, will come up in my feed and I'll think it's mine.
I love it.
So she's been able to really emulate my style.
Yeah.
Like I said, these are all things I've learned from other educators and then kind of like, you make a conglomerate of what you've learned from others, everything that you like to make up who you are, and then that's going to happen for them too. But yeah, it's not that important. It's so much more important their energy, like and their interpersonal skills.
Yeah.
I can teach the other stuff. I can teach you like my angles and my poses and all that stuff. And as long as you stick to that and you're not going your own way during your sessions with me, it's good. But it's the stuff I can't teach is their social skills and if they like people or not. And
yeah. You know what's funny is I just actually signed up for masterclass because I found I was scrolling on TikTok way too much. And I was like, I need to do something in the evenings where I'm not doing the endless scroll. So I signed up for masterclass and I watched one on Richard Branson, and he had the advice of when you're hiring someone, take them out to lunch first and watch how they treat other people. And right? And I was like, that is brilliant. And just like watch how they are with people before you even consider bringing them on. And I thought that was just such good business advice, right?
But specifically out to lunch, because the way that people treat service providers, especially if they like think they're below them, I think that is so telling. It is so telling. That's a good one. I'm gonna do that.
Right? I was like, that.
Thank
I
you,
think
Richard.
That's amazing, right? I was like, thanks, Richard.
I love that. Yeah, seriously.
So how do you structure paying them? Is this something where they're getting the full entire session? You're taking a cut? Like, how does that work?
Yeah. So I have ADHD and I can't, I understand that subcontractors can be 1099. I don't know if Canada has the same sort of like tax structure and payment structure that we do. So a 1099 employee is like, I would have to fill out a special tax form at the end of the year if I've paid somebody like the hairdresser across the street when she does hair and makeup for me, for my clients. I pay her, and then, it's a 1099 at the end of the year. To avoid that at all, because my associates are getting paid so often, I have the clients pay their retainer directly to them. So they have their own Calendly links or whatever booking software they use. And they collect either $300 or $350 upfront. That's the flat rate for a regular family session for my team. And they collect it directly from the client. If there needs to be a refund, that's on them. They take care of that, and the money never passes through me. So I don't technically need to even 1099 them. It is very streamlined. And then I invoice the client the balance. And I let them know at booking, like, if you're working with an associate, you're going to pay them directly, and you'll get an invoice from me. So.
Love that. Now, is your business model digital, or do you like hybrid? Do you do additional
I do
prints?
all inclusive.
Yep.
So once again,
Yep.
ADHD, I have tried so many models and I appreciate the appeal of like of IPS or even in a digital version of IPS, but I need to have like less steps to my entire like client journey for me to follow through. So, and I also got burned a couple of times, people booking me in my busy season and paying the session fee and then not buying anything. And like, nope, can't have that happen anymore. So now I just charge a lot of money and it's all inclusive.
Yeah. I love that. I was really similar. I have a similar business structure where I just kind of kept increasing it. And I was like, if I want to include like a print, I tried doing prints for a while and I was like, I don't like this for me. And then I found these albums that I really loved. And I was like, well, what I'm going to do is if I want to do albums, I'm just going to include it in the package and say, this is my package of digitals that includes an album, period.
Yes.
Full stop.
It's so funny.
Spread. Yeah, that's it.
That's what I'm doing next year is
awesome.
I want to raise my prices a little bit, but I do want to include the album.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to be doing. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
We could trade notes.
Seriously. Let me know how it goes. There is an album company that I found last year that I fell in love with their quality, and it's called Wooden Banana.
I've seen them.
Their velvet covers are, oh my gosh.
Because
and so
nobody else has those.
Yes. Yeah. And I got the sample albums of them, and like the price was pretty decent. I think
price was better than the lab that I use.
Right? Mm-hmm. Quality. Like I've been showing them to my clients, and they're like, I want all of these. And I was like, this is awesome. So definitely check out Wooden Banana. I'm not even
That's awesome.
There's no affiliation with them. I love you, Wooden Banana.
Yes. I'm going to check them out.
Yeah,
okay.
For sure.
Yeah, I'll have to get a sample.
Velvet, and the colors are so yummy and dreamy. So
yeah, I love velvet because I don't like those linen-y types. They get stained so easily. Yeah. They always get like marks on them. Velvet is much more child friendly, actually.
Yeah. I like velvet. I just I like the look of it.
Yes.
Same. So managing a team of associates really allows you to work less. Can you share the impact this has had on your work-life balance and your ability to spend more time with your family?
It is. It's like tipping the scale for my work-life balance. Mm-hmm. I am home again. I am like there on weekends. I'm going to barbecues. I'm going to soccer games. And just as important, because I do like working. I love what I do. Otherwise, I would go back to working for other people because there's a lot that's easier about working for other people. I can just focus on taking the jobs that I really like, the things I feel like are in my zone of genius, the things that light me up and that move the needle for my business. And, the more that you niche down, for me at least, the better I get at those things. If I can just do the same types of sessions for the most part, I get really good at those. And then when I start to mix in a variety, it's like it really waters it down, and I'm not that good. But anyway, yes, I do. I'm home with pants that don't button, sometimes no bra, all the time now. It's really great. I love to be able to be home. I love when I don't have anywhere to go, and then I can run my business from my couch, and it's good stuff.
I love that. So do you have any thoughts on outsourcing the editing?
Yeah. So I have tried outsourcing. I'm a very fast editor. Oh. So if I shoot a 20-minute session, it normally takes me about 20 minutes to upload, edit, deliver. So same thing for an hour session. That said, that's because I use AI culling. That's since implementing AI culling.
I know, it's amazing.
Yeah. So my next step this winter, actually, I'm going to learn how to use the AI editing, because you do have to train it with some
Yes.
crazy amount of photos, like 5,000 or something. So
Yes.
I am going to learn how to do that so I can really streamline it, because it's
That's
getting
awesome.
to, yeah, the back end of everything is getting really efficient, and
Yeah.
I
It's so
like it.
nice. Like back to
Yes.
when we first started, like it was like hours and hours and hours. Like
One
I
photo at
remember,
a
do
time.
you remember like when Bridge or not Bridge, Lightroom, and you'd have to pull it up and just sit there and wait for everything to render, and you're just like, I guess I'm just gonna make dinner now. Like,
So I am like an outlier where I use Adobe Camera Raw.
oh,
And
girl, same,
oh,
same.
you
I
do?
do too. I have always used ACR and I love it. And so that's the part I find frustrating with some of these softwares is
Yes,
because they don't have the
exactly.
ACR,
And
right? And
that's
I'm
why I
like,
need to spend the winter to learn how to use Lightroom
same.
and how to,
I
yes. So
know.
now it's like a new thing. And I'm finding more and more legitimate photographers who are using ACR. So I feel
Yeah.
less weird about it
Yeah, no,
now.
I have always loved ACR. I'm really proficient in Lightroom, but for some reason, I feel like ACR is more efficient for my workflow,
It's so fast for me.
right? Like,
Yes, it's so fast for me. I don't know if there's something I'm missing.
I
I don't know
know,
why like the majority seems to love Lightroom,
I
but
know,
yeah,
because like,
ACR is like where it's at for me.
because my workflow would be like, I pull up, like, I call them in Photo Mechanic or, oh gosh, what's the new one? Aftershoot.
After shoot.
And so I use either one of those. And then I pull it into like the group of like 50 or whatever. I pull them into ACR all together. Then I send them, do all my edits, save them as PSDs, run my actions on them, and then use Batch Plus and go through each one individually. And it's like,
That's
bam,
very similar to
right?
what I do. Yeah,
Yeah,
I after shoot, and then like I have to close it and then open it up and go through all the ones that are selected for green, apply
yep,
my favorite preset. I think part of like being a fast editor is I almost always use the same preset.
yeah,
I don't like spend a lot of time experimenting because I
yeah.
have something that works. And yeah, apply it, and then like I do this weird thing where I batch delete all of them. Like I mark them for all for deletion, and then I undelete the ones that I want, because it's I'm normally going to delete more than I'm not,
Yeah,
and make little tweaks there, and it can be really, and I got a very fast computer this year, so
good.
I recognize that that's part of my
Oh,
speed.
it's huge. So what did you get? Are you Mac?
I am Mac. I
Awesome.
have it's a MacBook Pro.
Yep.
Which is what I've had in the past, but this one has 96 gigabytes of RAM.
Oh, nice.
It's just like, might be overkill, but it is like
Nice.
I bought time with it. Like
Yeah.
I paid for time in my life, so that's worth it.
Yeah, I've been looking at the Mac Studio, I think it's
Mm-hmm.
called, and I was like, I just want something with because I do a lot of video editing too.
Right.
So I was like, I want something really oofy. So
Yes.
it has these new like 24, I've got a 24-inch, and I'm just like, I don't know if this is as oofy as it needs to be. So
Is it like I have an iMac at home too, but my kids
yeah,
have kind of like stolen it to play The Sims and stuff. So I'm like
yeah,
waving the white flag there. But
yeah,
a photographer I talked to just got the Mac Studio with the giant screen. I bet that's gonna be fun.
yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
I'm looking forward to that. So
Yeah.
that'll be on bucket list for 2024.
Black Friday's coming,
Wow, we
right?
went like deep on tech talk there.
I know, and I don't even think I didn't think I cared so much about tech, but I guess
No?
I care about the
Okay.
tech that makes my life better.
Right? Fast tech. I love it.
Yes,
I love it.
yes.
Okay, so when you're transitioning to a team-based model, what challenges have you found you've encountered, and how do you kind of navigate them for success for your whole team?
Yeah, so I mean, the number one challenge that I found was figuring out how to do it in the first place. Like when
Mhm.
I was doing this, everything I could find about photographers bringing on associates was geared towards wedding photographers. And there's some differences there.
Yeah.
So it was a ton of research and like piecemealing the information that I got from different sources together to make it work. From there, I've had to get better about delivering. Lisa, it's family photography, so it is not
Yeah.
surgery. Nobody is killing anybody if they mess up at work that day. But like when somebody delivers, if one of my associates makes a mistake or
Yeah.
there's something that we need to talk about so that we don't do that again, I've I've usually avoided those conversations. And as a solopreneur, I don't always have to have them with people who don't live in my house. So,
Yeah.
so finding ways to communicate that and
Mm,
to my team without them taking offense, or I don't want anybody to feel bad or think that
yeah.
you're like in trouble just
Yeah.
because there's a problem, your ISO was high or you cropped somebody at the ankle
Yeah.
or something. That's like, let's, just move forward and
Yeah.
But I've gotten good at it, I think, because nobody's quit, and
I love that.
yeah.
So how did you find your associate photographers?
So I have 3 associates, and I have each of them I found a different way. The first one I kind of cold called. She was the first person I thought of when my husband gave me that idea, and I actually called her, and I told her what I wanted to do, and she was really excited and surprised, and she was nervous, and I remember I said to her, I'm like, Allie, I'm not a unicorn. And she's like, oh, but you don't understand, you are, because she's so much younger than me. She thinks what I'm doing is like some unattainable thing. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, my first bits of work that went out to the public are so much worse than yours. I had to figure this out too. Like, and if I can figure it out, I can show you how to figure it out too, and we can get you there, and you'll be great. I said, I'm most concerned about your character, and I like you. I know that you're going to do a great job. The next way was I knew I wanted to have 2 people. So I put out an ad on Facebook jobs, which you can't do anymore, I guess, which stinks because it was actually really good. So people would apply, and I conducted a lot of interviews actually and narrowed it down to 1 photographer. I brought them into my studio, and we had, we met, and I watched them shoot. I wanted to make sure they could shoot manual, and if they couldn't, show them how, because that's honestly pretty easy stuff to teach. The third one reached out to me. She's somebody that years ago took a course that I offer on how to shoot in manual, believe it or not. She's an art teacher, and she, after taking the course, she got really into photography, and she took a bunch of courses with like Kirsten Lewis, and like she is a documentary style photographer.
Wonderful.
She won awards, and she started a business and did not like the business. So she's just been sticking to her day job at the school, but was like, I still want to shoot, but I don't like running a business. So if you want another associate, like I would be game. So that was an easy yes for me. So yeah, I think if I were going to do it again, if I needed to find another associate, I would probably I'd probably like cold call like I did with Allie. Just kind of like observe, see who's like doing things you like. And then now I think I would take them out to lunch too.
I love that. I love that. I think I love the conversations I get to have on this podcast, because I really think there's not just one way to run a photography business. And I think it's so important that our listeners and our students really, embrace that, if you wanted to be an associate photographer, or if you wanted to have associate photographers, that is an absolute option. If you want to do IPS, or if you don't want to do IPS and do all digital, it's all options.
Yes. Yeah. This photographer I know she's very, very green. Like she just got started and bought her first camera this year. And she's reached out to me yesterday wondering if I thought she was leaving money on the table by not doing a session fee plus. I said, there is more than one way to skin a cat. Like there is really not a right way or a wrong way. You have to try them out though, because you need as little friction. I need as little friction as possible. It needs to feel organic. It feels natural to me. And, if you like, I have tried to switch back and forth, and it turns into a lot of re-educating my clients. Like, okay, and guess what? This year we're going to do things a little differently. And it's a pain in the butt. Like nobody wants to do that. Nobody needs to be confused. So there are so many ways to do this well and to do it right. And one way is not better or more profitable necessarily than the other. I work very few hours, and I make a pretty healthy, income from it. And I think that for me, the all-inclusive model works great because of that. Yeah.
I love that. Oh gosh, what was my question?
Sorry.
In one ear out. No, it's just my brain. My brain works so fast that I've already like asked the question in my head, answered it, and then on to something else. And I'm like, hey, but we didn't rewind. We didn't ask the question.
I can relate to that.
So let's talk about getting into mentoring a little bit, because that's something that I know that you are starting to do. So how has your own journey as a photographer influenced your teaching approach when mentoring others in the photography industry?
So like I said earlier, like I feel like, and I know it just looks like this sometimes, but I feel like with the tech being where it is and cameras being more affordable, that it doesn't take as long for people to become really good photographers anymore, right? It felt like it took me a long time to get to be a decent photographer and a decent business person. But I get so excited about what this career has given me. And when I see other people like even thinking about doing it, I'm like, yeah, come on, let me show you how,
Yeah.
because this is the best. I was just at career day for my kids' school yesterday and talking to these kids who all think they have to go to college or a
Yes.
trade school or something like that to make good money. And, our salaries are written right there on our little poster and everything. And the kids are like, you make what? You're a photographer and you make what? And I'm like, more than photography, like, I want you to think about what you do that you love, what you do that can help other people. And you can turn that into a small business. Being, your own boss. For me, I can't imagine going back to work. So when my entire my entire career, my everything about like my lifestyle now, because of owning my own photography business, gets me so excited for other people who are just getting started out. And I want to make sure that they know they can do this too. This isn't like you don't need some secret or any magic or anything special to get here. You can do it too. And that's what motivated me to start mentoring other people. And, I tend to like info dump and give a lot of unsolicited advice. So I figure if like I can just find the people who actually want to hear me, it's better.
I love that. Now, how do you market with having associate photographers?
Yeah, so I actually don't, and this might change. Maybe I'll like start being more intentional about marketing them. Because of where I am with my business, I have a lot of leads that come in that I that I used to say no to.
Yeah.
So now those leads I say yes to in a different way. Like, yes, I won't be the person photographing your proposal or your bat mitzvah or your senior or things like that. I have this associate who's really good. And let me show you her portfolio. She's a little less expensive than me. So that's a nice perk too that I think is, if anybody has it's not a big, it's probably like 25% cheaper that my associates are than me. But if anybody has concerns over price, that can be a nice little option for them. So it helps me say yes to more people. But no, I don't really even post their work that often, unless it's to advertise a specific event they're doing. Like when one associate likes to do family mini sessions, which is great because I decided this year I really don't like doing them. So I will advertise her mini session work from the previous year and that sort of thing. And they do have their portfolios on my website, but I just market as usual. And the extra leads are coming in. And instead of like going to my little group of photographer, like our group chat and like saying, hey, does anybody want this job? I can't take it.
Yeah.
I go to my associates and I say that.
Yeah. And then it kind of becomes fun to matchmake too, I'm sure. Right.
It is. And my team I think this was kind of an accident, but they are really well-rounded. Like my one associate is a wedding photographer who can also do family work, but when I get the proposals and the couples and the engagements and things like that, I'm like, that's an easy for you to hire. Allie is like, does everything that I do. So like family work and that sort of thing. And then Jenna does the documentary style. So like in-home family and newborn and stuff like that. Like she's better than me at that stuff. So it is really exciting to just feel like we have this group now of specialists.
Yeah.
Who it's not just like where I'm the best one and they're kind of good.
Yeah.
Like each of them is better than me in their own ways too.
I love that.
So it is really awesome.
Ah, great. Sounds really symbiotic. That's awesome.
It is.
Love
Yeah.
that. So looking ahead, do you have any goals or projects as having this associate photographer business that you're really excited about that you would like to share?
Yeah, I am excited to be offering a course now to teach other photographers who are at a stage in their business where they're ready to bring on some associates. I don't think it's something that many family photographers even think of as an option. But there's a lot of different reasons that this could be right for somebody. For example, my studio partner is like you. She's a newborn photographer, and that's really all she wants to do. She doesn't want to do the family work or the maternity work anymore. And she's going to be training somebody to do that sort of work so she can keep taking it because, those things can turn into newborns.
Yeah.
And they can kind of continue to generate if you can kind of like keep those other things in house. So there's a lot of ways that this could work for somebody. A lot of people probably think like they're not at the stage in business to have
Yeah.
the overflow of work, but there's a decent chance that that they are. You know, if you find
Yeah.
yourself saying no, even just during busy season, then you could have an associate just during busy season.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I'm working towards because, like I said, I get very excited. You know, if I find like a shampoo I like, I'm gonna talk your ear off about it and like encourage you to try it. By the way, I haven't found a shampoo I like, but so if anybody has any recommendations, but but that's like, so this is something that has been life changing for me. You know,
Yeah.
it broke my income goals for me
Awesome.
and like brought me into new territory that way. And you know, the community, I can't like forget to talk about how nice it is to have this little team and like they come out to lunch with me. This is now that I know them, but we go out to lunch together. We'll go out to dinner together. We'll do things like that just for fun. And it's nice to have that team. I help them with their businesses. I want to see their businesses do really well too. And obviously they help me with mine. So it's,
Love that.
yeah, I would encourage any family photographers or any photographers to consider this as an option for their business.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. I love it.
Thanks.
So you ready for our lightning round?
I am. Let me get to let me make sure I'm ready. Yes.
Okay. What's your favorite movie?
I think it's What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Oh, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Favorite guilty or not so guilty pleasure?
Trash TV, like, you know, junk food for your brain when you don't want to think. It's like I really like Real Housewives of New Jersey. Really trashy.
I haven't dived into that, but I've been really into Kardashians lately.
Oh,
so,
yeah?
Yeah, I'm really into them.
And you haven't like lost faith in humanity?
No, shockingly, I actually really like them. And I'm like,
Really?
I seriously, you should watch the Kardashians.
Okay.
I was like shockingly surprised. And now I'm like a super fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, Kim.
Chloe's making it.
Okay.
Oceans or mountains and why?
So I grew up on an island and I spent the first 25 of my years of my life on or in the ocean. But I live in the mountains now. I came up here and I settled down.
Yeah.
And I think the mountains wins for me. The mountains are steady and constant and they provide safety. You know, they protect us from weather and things like that. And the ocean is beautiful, but it's really powerful and it's always changing and it would bring in hurricanes and things like that. So I'm going to say mountains.
So what island did you grow up on?
Long Island.
Oh.
Do you know Long Island?
Not really, but I've been to
Good.
New York a few times. And actually, here's a funny story. So we flew into JFK,
Okay.
my business partner and I, and we were going to a business retreat in the Poconos. Is that right? So we took
It would probably be the Catskills. Pennsylvania is the Poconos.
Yeah,
Were
no,
you
it
in
was the
Pennsylvania?
Poconos. It was Skytop.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
And
that's actually very close to me.
We took an Uber from JFK.
Oh, God. This
And he was
the
like,
scenic route.
he had never been out of the city. We were terrified.
And it's actually like, so for somebody who learned to drive in like on Long Island and like near the city, it is really scary to drive up here because the people up here are going really fast on these little narrow, windy mountain roads. And I'm like, no, the speed limit was 55. Like, I need to slow down. Like, I can't see.
He didn't realize it was going to be like a 3.5-hour trip. Like, and we were like, oh. Sorry, sir.
Payday. Ka-ching.
It was so funny. He was like, I think I probably should have like quoted more for this.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah, poor guy. What's for dinner tonight?
So tomorrow is American Thanksgiving. So my family is on their own. I'm actually gonna go out for appetizers and drinks with my mother-in-law and sister-in-law tonight. So probably cereal and like a scoop of peanut butter.
Yes. Yes, I love that. I love that. What's the best gift you've ever received?
So this is a hard one, but I think back to like the most thoughtful gift I've ever received. I was in high school and my brother saw me rubbing like a perfume sample on myself. And like every day I would rub because I was in high school. I didn't have money.
Right.
So I would like rub this sample and I really liked it. And he didn't say anything. He just went and he took the sample and he saw what it was and he went and he bought the perfume and he totally surprised me that Christmas of like, he's such a good gift giver. Like he's so thoughtful.
I
and he
love that.
notices so much. So I think that was like one of the most surprising and thoughtful and like a gift that, I mean, that was probably 15 or 20 years ago now, that,
Yeah.
and I still remember it and just I tear up when I think about it.
Oh, that's so sweet. I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. What are you most grateful for in this season of life?
My husband.
Yeah.
It's always my husband. He's been a constant blessing in my life. He's always supported me, and I just, I think the world of him. And
Mm.
I don't take for granted that I found him, and because we're such a perfect match for each other. But like my when I got pregnant and I was going to pay more in daycare than I was earning at the time. I didn't have a thriving business yet. He was cool with me not going back to work and working on building this while he supported
Mm.
the family. And knowing that, I mean, he never gave me a hard time about working late hours and staying up all night to edit inefficiently and like the old Photoshop and everything like that
Yep.
and delivering on little CDs. And like I wasn't making any money, but I was spending a lot of time in the business, and he
Yeah.
always supported me and he always treated it like a big deal. And that's just the tip of the iceberg with him. That's my husband. I'm always grateful for him.
Oh, I love that. That's great. What is something you've accomplished as an adult that your younger self would be proud of?
All of this,
Yeah.
this life that I've been able to build. I get very excited about just about everything, as you can see.
I love
But
that.
I think it's so cool and so amazing. And I know that little Jill would have thought this is the coolest thing, that, you don't have to hate work. You can like
Yeah.
going to work and you can make money doing it and have a family that you really like spending time with and live in a cool place and all that.
What three things do you want to be remembered for?
This is such a loaded question. I really had to to think hard about this one. I hope people remember me for being honest, supportive, and tenacious.
Good answer. Love that. What has been the best piece of business advice you've ever been given?
This is a really tough one. I think that Elena S. Blair has been my mentor for
Oh, she's
a while
great.
now. She's great. And I think one of the biggest takeaways that's been most impactful that she's told me is to like get rid of the limiting beliefs. Stop playing
Mm,
small.
yeah.
Think big. Think big. Don't limit what you think your life can be or what your business can be or who you can be.
Yeah.
Just dream it, write it down, and kind of without being too woo, find a way to manifest it.
Yeah.
Envision it, just and do it. It's possible. If you can dream it, you can do it.
Yeah. I love it. Richard Branson, again, also has this quote from Virgin, and it is screw it, let's do it.
Yes,
Screw it, just do it. Like,
that's it.
just do
And
it.
it's worked for him,
Yeah.
clearly.
What advice do you have for someone who's just starting out?
The same.
Yeah.
Don't limit yourself.
Yeah.
What think about what you want this to do for you, why, and why you're doing it, and what life should look like in this field, and then reverse engineer that and be intentional and do the thing. Don't give up. Failing is good. Failing is really
Oh,
good. Keep failing and learn from your failures, and because each one is going to make you a little bit better at what you do.
we learn more from our failures than we do our successes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it really has to hurt. Like it has to be painful.
Yep. You
Sucks,
learn the
but
big lessons when they're
yes,
then when they're the most painful, they're the biggest
they
ones.
are. Yeah. Those are the
Right.
good ones.
Right? That time where you like change the quality of your camera from like raw to like fine JPEG and then still had to come up with a session. Ever done that?
Yes.
Never did that again.
I have done that. My really good friend just got a new mirrorless camera in the first session that she shot with it. And she's been in business longer than me. The first session she shot with it was JPEG.
Yeah.
Indoor studio,
Yeah.
like newborn. So she was like totally like,
Yeah.
but it worked out. She
Yeah.
figured it out.
I
And
know.
yeah, she's
Well,
not going to do that again.
no, and the funny thing is now because you have the camera raw filter inside Photoshop, you kind of have the side door. So I was like,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
that saved me. That saved me. This was recent because this was like actually only about 6 months ago when I got my mirrorless, and
Oh, so
I
same.
did that. So I
Same.
was like, oh, it was bad.
It's a good mistake. It
You live
works.
and learn. You live and learn. I won't do it again though.
Some professional photographers shoot in JPEG only
They
on
do.
purpose.
They
So
do.
it's like
Absolutely.
it's not common, but you can do it. It's
Yeah.
better when you know you're doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. No surprises. Right.
Right.
So where can our listeners learn more from you?
Jill C. Smith Photography. You can find me at that name on Instagram, Facebook, and jillcsmithphotography.com.
Love it. So I love to end my interviews just with this last question. And it is, what are you currently curious about or artistically curious about?
So you can see I'm in my studio. I have like an all white studio. So like I try to shoot all white spaces, right?
Yeah.
And this is something that takes up, the cold months when I'm not outdoors doing golden hour stuff. And I've always tried to get the really good white balance, just the tones that Susie Mitchell gets. I can't get
Oh my
it.
gosh.
Do you know? Are you familiar with her work?
Little White, yes. I'm obsessed with her white tones. I have tried to deconstruct it so many times.
I can't.
I know.
So she is finally offering education, and I signed up, and I'm going to be doing that this January. So I'm going to really give it a good college try this year because I cannot. I cannot. And she uses the same equipment as me.
Yes.
So I figure like if she can do it, I should be able to do it.
If she still has this open, I'm signing up myself because
Yes,
I've
I
been
think
trying
she
to
has dates
deconstruct
open.
it for years. I'm signing up today.
I will send you the
I
email.
love to learn. I just love to learn.
Too. I do too. And I feel like I haven't done any education as like a photographer, like for not the business end, but like for the photography end in a while. So I really want to see if I can do that because that has been escaping me for a very long time now.
I love that. Well, Jill, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a treat chatting with you.
You too, Lisa. Thank you so much.
Oh, my beautiful friends, I hope you have enjoyed this conversation just as much as I have. I am sending you so much of my light and my love today and every single day. We'll see you next time.